Hello, welcome to another episode of the Power of the 49ers Academy. My name is Dennis Brown. I'm a former San Francisco 49er and a longtime supporter of the 49ers Academy. This is going to be our final video in our three-part series, The Power of the Academy. I'm so excited to hear from our guest today. We're going to hear about the 49ers Academy and the change and how it changes lives. Let's go ahead and meet our panel today. Let's start off with Miriam, Program Director, 49ers Academy. How are you, Miriam?
I'm good. How are you, Dennis?
Doing very well.
So I am the Programs Director for the Academy and also an alumni.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. It's also super important to kind of hear from a parent's perspective. I mean, this is grassroots. This is in the home. This is getting students out, getting them ready for the day. So we have a parent here. Shawneece, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Shawneece Stevenson, and I have 3 children, one who's now graduated from high school, but we were part of the 49er Academy in middle school and now part of it in high school. So thanks so much for having me.
And thank you for being here. And we also have a special guest. Look here, we're going to hear from the Ravenswood School District. Here's Gina. Gina, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Gina Sudaria. I'm the superintendent, and I'm just really proud to have been able to partner with the 49ers Academy since I was a principal at Castaño, and just being able to be with you guys today to discuss the impact of the Academy.
Well, thank you so very much, ladies, for being here. You guys, all 3 of you have a unique relationship with the 49ers Academy. Miriam, you're on the staff. And you're also a student from the program. I think that is fantastic. Can you tell us more about your experience on both sides of it, the academy and being a student and now working in the middle school and high schools?
Sure. So I went to the 49ers Academy in 2001, and I enrolled as a student during the last couple of months of my 5th grade year, actually. Upon getting here from Mexico. So it was a very unique experience. And so I've been, very connected from the beginning. And I feel like you hear parents and students say this all the time. Once you're a part of the academy, you're always a part of the academy. So I never really left. That's how I got my first summer internship, my first job. Every time something would happen with school, I would come back, and that's where my mentors were, Michelle, Miss Greg. So as a student, I feel like I learned how to advocate for myself. I learned that I had people in my corner that were going to root for me, that believed in me. And so once I started as a staff member upon graduating from college, I think it was a really natural transition to me because I knew exactly what needed to be done for our students, because that was all that was done for me. And so I've been here ever since. So that was in 2013.
Awesome. And I always enjoy hearing you speak at the different fundraisers about your experience and what you're doing. And you're a true testament of kind of what this program is about. Now, Gina, I'm interested in hearing from the school district side. What kind of impact have you seen?
I've seen quite a bit since my tenure here in the district. I was introduced to the Academy as a principal in 2008. And what has been most helpful is them being able to provide necessary resources that we couldn't do based on just on our general funds. And so they served very much like a stopgap in regards to meeting the needs of students when our dollars ran out. And not only that, when it came to personnel, having people who truly cared about building relationships with students and investing time in students. So, 49ers Academy, with the resources and the mentorships, were able to send kids to Washington, D.C., or their first science camp experience. And that was actually the first for the district as well. And to now see how they've grown to support the middle school program at all the 3 tiers, on the academic side and on the behavior side of that triangle, where you're supporting 80% of your kids at one level, and then trying to minimize that so that it's about 100%, so you reach as many students as possible with positive role models and life experiences that they will be able to benefit from.
Yeah, and I can remember my experiences, and as I grew as a person, it was so important for me to get out of South Central Los Angeles and go into different environments, and it opened up my world because I did things like I went on camping trips that was never heard of for an inner city Black kid. We went to science camp. We did things like that, just kind of broadened, got me out my box that I was in, and it helped me out so much because it made everything, the world kind of opened up, and those are different exposures that I had. So I think that's huge and that's important. Now, Miriam, I've heard a lot of inspirational stories from you at the different fundraisers, but can you tell us something that has been probably the most impactful for you?
Where to start? Oh my goodness. I'm going to talk a little bit about a student. We've been working with this family for maybe since 2013, I think, when I came on. So we're now working with, we're about to take on their rising ninth grader. It's the last one in the family. But we worked with all three of the family members. And this is a family who, a single mom, very working long hours, sometimes 2 jobs, and also with, struggling with housing. They must have moved like at least 6 or 7 times throughout the time that we were working with them. And during one of the moves, they moved to Modesto, and they were commuting to the high school from Modesto for a period of time, which was really difficult. But there were challenges, there were attendance issues because of how far the family was commuting from. There were, food insecurity issues. There were transportation issues, behavior issues, you name it. But we remained a constant support for the family, for the students, and 3 of their students already graduated from high school. 2 of them have very good jobs. One of them just graduated this year, and we're about to take on they're actually their 4th student as a 9th grader. And so I always think about this family because it reminds me a lot about how I grew up and what some of my circumstances were and what some of the support that I received. And so we've been able to replicate that and do that for that family to make sure that they were okay, even while they faced a period of a couple months of commuting and uncertainty. During that time, we wrapped around them and we supported them to make sure that the kids were okay and that the families were okay. And so to me, being here for so long and seeing those kids succeed, and we're about to take on the 4th one, I feel like that's impact. And so it's every kid finding their own path, whether it's community college, whether it's going straight to a 4-year, but them being a part of that plan and having, a voice in it. So that would be the most impactful thing that I can think of at this second, but there's plenty of stories to share.
Yeah. And you are super important because, like you said, you kind of been there and you've done that, and you can empathize when you go and you see someone who may have a situation that you understand, and you can have some compassion, you can understand. And I think you are very key to this program. So I thank you for all your work and coming on here with us today. Wish we had more time to hear more of the stories. They're all fantastic. But what I want to do, I want to end this with Shawneece. Now, you've had three children that have been part of the 49ers Academy. What is the biggest impact the 49ers Academy has left on your family?
I think the biggest impact that I've seen is opportunities for the kids to grow. When you have kids with learning disabilities or health conditions and they're hospitalized or they're struggling to figure out the way that they learn, it doesn't always show up in your grades. It doesn't always show up in your attendance. And so for someone to even see them for who they are and provide opportunities sometimes without the grade, but really hoping to inspire is helpful, because when kids are struggling to learn or they have a medical condition that doesn't allow them to be at school the way that they want, you have to find other opportunities to kind of spark kids' interest and expose them. And I think that the 49er Academy does that very well. And I think the other thing that the 49er does very well is the transition to high school. Not having our own high school in our community is really difficult. It's hard to have the articulation that you want, but I know that they're working on that. And I think for myself, I'm able to navigate systems pretty well. But I think because of the 49er Academy, I didn't realize how hard it was going to be at the high school level to navigate it. As a person who understands systems, and my kids understand systems, but simple thing of trying to figure who to call you back to move from a 504 plan to an IEP, or to deal with a struggle or microaggressions, or trying to help your kids to fit in or find their path in high school. I realize that no matter how great of a navigator you are, you sometimes still need people to come alongside of you.
Fantastic, fantastic. And you know, you're speaking to a child that went through school, had a tough time, had some learning issues, still suffers from dyslexia, but because of a few people in my life, I was able to overcome some of the challenges. And I think that's exactly when you talk about the 49ers and the wraparound service, elementary school, middle school, high school, I think that is huge. And these stories are just mind-blowing. And if you want to know more about the 49ers Academy and kind of how they're empowering students in their lives, you can make a difference and get involved. Please visit 49ersacademy.org. And thank you for tuning in for these videos. It's been fantastic. And I thank everyone so much for being here. You guys are great.